Hello and welcome to Maria Makes It. Today we're going to be turning these dollar store cat toys into some styling earrings. Stay tuned to find out how. So here's some supplies you're going to need to do this project. You're going to need some needle nose pliers, jewelry wire cutter, beads, jump rings, eye pins, hot glue gun and sticks, acrylic paint, white and a color of your choice or two, dollar store cat toy, and some patience. So here we're going to start with one of the little dollar store cat toys. As you can see, it's a little red metal sphere, and it's got this little plush mouse toy stuck inside of it. So it should be pretty easy to take out because it is soft and plush. So we're just going to pull it through the little slats here like so. And it pretty much just pops right out. So there you have it. They're now separated and you have this red base. So we're gonna actually prime this with some white acrylic paint because it's what I have on hand. You could also use spray paint if you want. It's just a little bit messier. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started and see how it goes. Okay, so now we have our little red sphere and we want to cover it with white acrylic paint. So I have my paint ready here. I just put it in this little cup and I have a flat brush that's not too small, not too big. It's gonna make it easier for us to apply the paint on the rounded surface. Now the trick is, as we're painting here, to make sure you're not pushing too hard on the paint because you'll spread it out too thin. So you just want to touch it very lightly, almost like a sketching motion, and we want to make sure to get the inside of the sphere as well so that from every angle everything's evenly covered. So go ahead and just apply this paint to the entire sphere. Sorry, I keep saying sphere so much, it's kind of awkward. But we'll come back in a few minutes once this is done. Alright, so now that the sphere is painted, we're going to let it dry for anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes, just to give it enough time to be dry to the touch so we can apply our color coat on top. If you can wait longer, that's totally fine too. The longer the better. But 20 to 30 minutes is the soonest that I would start applying the second coat. So we're just going to wait for this to dry and then come back with our color. Oh, and another quick note, you can see here I'm using this little throwaway plastic shot glass as a little perch for my sphere while it's drying. You can do something like this, or you can also tie a string at the top and hang it like an ornament. I think this is an easy way to let it dry. Okay, so we're back and now this is nice and dry to the touch. So we're actually ready to apply our first color. In my case, I'm doing two colors. The first one is going to be pink and the other one is this nice lavender color. So I'm going to do one sphere and the pink and one sphere and the purple. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with my pink first and use the same flat brush that I washed because I only have one right now. And we're gonna make sure that we carefully apply just like last time, making sure to apply in a nice sketching motion and also to apply enough paint on the brush where the brush doesn't get kind of dry and start creating friction on the white layer, because then it could start to come off. So just very gentle and even application throughout this paint job, and don't forget to get the inside again. So here we have the painted pink color on the sphere and it came out really nice actually. The white didn't come up at all and it gave us a nice even bright color. It looks like we're only going to need one coat here, but I would suggest touching up later after you've been handling it. Once we get into the later stages, some paint might chip off. So for now, this is it. We're going to dive into our second color. Okay, so I finished painting my balls, and we've got the purple and pink color. Now we're gonna get to dive into the fun part once these dry. Again, 20 to 30 minutes each. Okay, so I went and grabbed some pretty beads that I had, just stuff that I had in stock. I grabbed a little pearl, like a plastic pearl, of course, an Aurora Borealis blue sphere, Aurora Borealis diamond, again, just a plastic bead, and a big giant gold bead as well. So yeah, this is what I'm starting off with. I may add more as I see necessary. I've separated into 2 dishes so that I have them ready for each one. Another quick tip, you don't want to put beads on that are going to be too heavy because those spheres have some weight already and we don't want your ears to rip off. So just be mindful of the beads that you're choosing. All right, it's time to start assembling. Here I'm showing you an eye pin, which is something I described in the supply list. And I cut it down to the right size. They were really, really long. So yeah, just do that before you start stringing the beads along, or you can just buy them already on the short side. They come in many sizes. You just stick the bead through and then you cut off the excess, and then take your needle nose pliers and kind of bend the end towards the bead in like a U. And I'm using the wrong pliers here because I just moved and I can't find my pliers that have a grip on them. So don't do what I did. Get the right pliers, guys. I would recommend definitely investing in a little starter kit if you're getting into making jewelry, accessories, or crafting in general. So once you get it to a good U, then you just kind of push down on it and it closes that hole and creates a stopper at the end. That way your bead doesn't fall off and you get a neat little package. I am obviously still struggling here. So let's just skip to the part where I actually did it right. Okay, here we go. This is the part where I actually got it closed, and now you can see it's kind of a neat little package, and we're leaving that top eye part intact, so we'll open it up as we're putting it on the little chain that we're going to be creating a little later on. I'm going to go ahead and do the same exact thing to the other pieces, the other beads, and then just a note, a couple of the beads have bigger holes in them, so I'm going to put a stopper bead at the end just to give it a little extra support. So here's the big gold bead. This is the one that needed a little stopper bead at the end. You could use a seed bead or any bead that's smaller than the main bead, and then just crimp the end like I showed you earlier. Okay, so here is the remaining piece off of one of the really long eye pins I cut earlier. And so I'm using my pinky to shape the perfect size loop. What this is gonna do is this is gonna go through the sphere. This is going to be the connecting piece where we attach all of the links, the jump rings that we mentioned earlier. We're going to create like a little chain, and this is the first kind of like base in order to create that. So you can also use wire too, but this was, the wire I had wasn't a thick enough gauge, and this was far more sturdy. A little harder to work with, but I figured it would do the trick. So now you can see after I've gotten it on there, I crossed it over, take my needle nose pliers, and then I'm going to just firmly secure it and then give it a twist twice. And that's going to give it this nice little loop. Here we go. And so now what I'm going to do is cut off the excess on one side. I'm going to keep the longer end. So I'm going to cut it really close because you don't want any pokey parts sticking out. And then I'm going to take my needle nose pliers again, and I'm going to start to shape a loop. Now this part probably is going to take some practice if you haven't done it before. As you can see, I'm just creating I'm pinching the wire in little increments just to shape it into a round shape. And I'm just going to cut off the excess, and I'm going to leave it open right now because we're going to take the 3 jump rings we strung together, and these are a pretty thick gauge. You can use some thinner gauge ones. I only had really thin or really thick, so I just went with it. And then you're just gonna take the open jump ring, which will be the very last one, the 3rd one, which will be at the bottom. The beads were strung together on the middle jump ring, and there we go. So we're gonna close off that new loop we were working with, and make sure it's nice and tight and secure and that nothing's poking out. And there we go. We are here in business. It helps to just kind of tap your finger around there just to make sure nothing's sticking out. And here I cut off a little extra piece. Okay, so now our cluster is attached. So the thing is that there's kind of a gap at the bottom, and I thought it would be a good idea to cover that up. So here we're gonna just use every part basically of this cat toy except for the mouse, and we're gonna take the feathers off of the mouse, and we're gonna use that to cover up that gap right there. So here we have our little friend, and actually the feathers are a really nice color and they're grouped together really well, so I think it's gonna look really cool. So we're gonna go ahead and trim this off and get it ready to be glued. So get your hot glue gun nice and preheated, and I'm gonna take this to my glue gun station. So now I'm at the glue station, and I'm just gonna first bind these 3 feathers together. And it's a little tricky sometimes with feathers, it's so fluffy, but I'm just gonna create a little cap that kind of binds them all together. Alright, and then I'm just gonna let it cool for a second. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take the glue gun again once it's cooled, and I'm gonna connect it to the sphere. And there we have it. We're all connected now, and I think that looks pretty darn cool, but I think we can do even better. Just to kind of clean up the glue and everything where it connects to the, god dang it, I have to say it again, the sphere. We're gonna get some more beads and just kind of gonna glue them around to create like a little extra pizzazz, and also to hide our work a little better. I would say that looks pretty nice. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do this to the other one and reveal the final look. All right, and here they are. The final product of all of that labor are these adorable cat toy earrings. Now, as you can see, there's a couple little blotches of white, so definitely touch up. And then I would recommend a sealant, like maybe a Krylon sealant or a Mod Podge, just to make sure they don't chip in the future. But yeah, enjoy them. If you like this video, please subscribe. And if you'd like to see me make any other weird thing into a piece of jewelry, definitely leave them in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys all soon.